You arrive into the world crying, which is appropriate because the world you've just entered is loud, chaotic, and already negotiating your future without asking you. You are born in rural Colombia, not into a palace, not into power, into dust roads, Catholic guilt, and a country that's quietly perfecting the art of inequality. Your mother thinks you'll be a teacher. Your father works hard and dies ordinary. The odds suggest you will too. Welcome to Colombia in the 1950s. If you're lucky, you grow up ambitious. If you're unlucky, you grow up ambitious and poor. That combination is combustible. You learn early that rules are suggestions for people without imagination. You sell small things first. Contraband cigarettes, fake lottery tickets, maybe stolen car parts. Nothing dramatic, just enough to feel the electricity of getting away with something. You discover something important. Power isn't about money, it's about fear. Money just helps. By your late teens, you're not afraid of breaking laws, you're annoyed by them. Kidnapping becomes a business model. Smuggling becomes logistics. You tell yourself you're just surviving. Everyone is corrupt anyway, you're simply better at it. Then, cocaine arrives. Not as a moral question, as an opportunity. The Americans want it, badly, desperately, obsessively, and you realize something almost beautiful in its simplicity. Supply will always meet demand. You just have to be the supply. You build routes, you build alliances, you build an empire out of jungles and airstrips and men who don't ask too many questions. Planes take off full and return empty. Miami starts to glitter in a way it didn't before. Nightclubs hum, Wall Street snorts, politicians deny everything. You are in your 20s and already wealthier than entire neighborhoods. By your 30s, you are one of the richest men on earth. Forbes writes your name down. They estimate your net worth in billions. They don't know where to put you on the list because there hasn't really been a drug lord category before. You build a zoo, hippos, giraffes, elephants, because when you have too much money, subtlety feels unnecessary. You build mansions with walls high enough to convince yourself they mean safety. You burn cash to keep your daughter warm one night because you can. It feels powerful. It also feels normal. This is the part where people call you a legend. In Medellin, some call you a hero. You build soccer fields, you fund housing projects, you hand out cash, you smile for cameras, you talk about politics, you talk about helping the poor, and you mean some of it. That's the complicated part. You are not a cartoon villain. You are a man who believes he deserves to win. But empires require maintenance. Rivals appear. They always do. The Cali cartel doesn't like you. The government doesn't like you. The United States really doesn't like you. Extradition becomes a word that keeps you awake at night. You would rather die in Colombia than sit in an American prison. That becomes a rule, non-negotiable. So you declare war. Car bombs become punctuation marks in your biography. Judges disappear, politicians vanish, planes fall out of the sky. Innocent people die in numbers that are difficult to visualize and easier not to. The city learns to flinch at loud noises. Mothers learn to identify explosions by distance. You tell yourself it's necessary. You tell yourself this is what power looks like when threatened. You tell yourself history will understand. History is busy ducking. In your 40s, you are both untouchable and completely surrounded. The government builds special units just for you. The Americans send advisors. Technology improves. Phones betray you. Friends reconsider their loyalties. Loyalty, it turns out, is strongest when you're winning. You negotiate your own prison. That sentence alone should tell you everything. You build it yourself. You pick the guards. You decorate. You host parties inside. It is less a prison and more a strongly worded suggestion. For a moment, you outmaneuver the state. Again, it feels good. It feels inevitable. It feels like destiny siding with you. Then the government realizes how ridiculous this is. They try to move you. You escape. Of course you do. Now the hunt becomes personal, not political, personal. There are task forces. There are rival cartels cooperating with authorities just to see you fall. Your name becomes less myth and more target. You are hiding now. Safe houses, rotating phones, trusted men shrinking in number. Your family moves constantly. Your children grow up knowing gunfire the way other kids know lullabies. Your wife stands beside you because leaving isn't an option anyone survives. You used to fill stadiums. Now you fill rooms with tension. By your early 40s, the empire is fractured. The money still exists, buried in fields, rotting in walls, floating through accounts. But money cannot shoot back. Money cannot run fast enough. Money cannot make people love you once they are tired of being afraid. You climb rooftops more often now. You listen for helicopters. You avoid windows. You measure your life in narrow escapes. One afternoon, a phone call lasts a little too long. That's all it takes. The search team triangulates. They close in. You run across terracotta rooftops in Medellin, heavier than you used to be, breathing harder than you remember. Bullets crack through the air. The city you once controlled watches quietly. You fall. Depending on who tells the story, you are shot by police, or by a rival, or maybe by yourself, keeping your promise never to be extradited. The details blur. The myth begins immediately. You are 44 years old. That's it. All the billions, all the violence, all the power. 44. Somewhere in Washington, officials congratulate themselves. Somewhere in Cali, rivals exhale. Somewhere in Medellin, a few people genuinely mourn you. Many more do not. Your hippos wander the estate long after you're gone, confused but thriving. They might outlive your legend. Your name becomes a brand, a warning, a television series, a Halloween costume, a history lesson. But you don't get to see any of that. You get a childhood that turned sharp, a youth that turned ruthless, a middle age spent at war with a government and gravity, and an ending on a rooftop, in a city that learned how to live with fear because you taught it. Ah, bummer. You wanted to be remembered as a man who beat the system. The system is still there. It adjusted. It always does. And somewhere, right now, a different ambitious boy is being born into poverty, discovering that rules are flexible and power feels good. The cycle doesn't end. It just changes names.